Hey everybody, I'm back in the kitchen and I'm so happy to be here. It is 2023. So happy stinking new year, y'all. I'm thrilled that you have tuned in to my first video of 2023. And I just have to take a second and give a shout out to all my new subscribers. Back in December, folks started looking for Chex Mix videos and they came across one that I did last year. Golly, y'all. I got like 500 new subscribers just from a Chex Mix video. So thank you for subscribing to my channel. I do appreciate it. I love reading what you guys have to say. You make me laugh. You make my heart happy. So thank you very much. I do very much appreciate it. I want to give a big shout out to Susan Kraft. She is... well, she's part of our family, but she doesn't live nearby exactly. And so she told me the last time we got together at a family gathering that she missed my videos and that I need to get busy and get in the kitchen and cook something because she misses me. So Susan, I am here and I'm here for you. So thank you for watching. I love you. So today, what I'm going to make, it's like a cheese straw. I've already done a video on a cheese straw though, but this is a souped up cheese straw. See, my husband's family is from Charlotte, North Carolina. And so every other year or so, when we go home for Christmas, I get excited because I know that Granny Crison is going to walk in the door on Christmas Eve with a big container full of her crispy cheese wafer things. They're stinking good and she never fails to bring them. I love them. And everybody else does too, because at the end of the night, the stinking box is empty. And so, whatever. But I expressed an interest in the cheese wafers. She sent me the stinking recipe. She wrote it out on an index card. And I'm going to treasure this. I might have to frame it because this is seriously such a wonderful treat. I guess it's a cracker, but it's along the, like I said, it's along the lines of just a standard cheese straw, but it's got Rice Krispies in it. Rice Krispies just kick it up a whole new level because it's even more crunch. And while there's no extra salt or anything really in the Rice Krispies, there's just something about it. It's just a heavenly little bite of crispy, yummy goodness. And I can't talk it up enough. But I guess I should shut up and start cooking. Oh, speaking of new viewers, I love reading things y'all send me, but I've also gotten some feedback from some folks who said that I'm too wordy, I'm repetitive, and that I don't wash my hands enough. Well, I will take all of that into consideration, but I'm going to tell you something. 2023, everybody's talking about making New Year's resolutions. They're going to change things up. Folks, I ain't changing a thing. I ain't made a resolution or nothing because this is me. I am going to keep it weird. I'm going to keep it loud, but hopefully I'm going to keep it fun because that's why I'm here. And that's why you came across my video because you were like, who in the world is that? So it's just me, Jamie, and I am thrilled that you're here. So let's jump into these stinking cheese wafers because, well, I want one. And the quicker we get them made, the quicker they're coming out of the oven. So, Granny Crison's recipe is very basic and standard. I will include her recipe on my website, jamieteachmetocook.com, on my blog. But what I'm going to make today is a variation of hers because I want you to see that you can start out with a good base recipe and then you can build on it and you can make it your own. So this is going to be Jamie's cheesy, crispy wafer things rather than Granny Crison's crispy, cheesy wafers, if that makes any sense. Anyway, so got all my stuff set out here. Now you've heard me in the past talk about packaged cheese and that it's not my favorite and that you need to grate your own cheese. Well, I still hold true to that. I do prefer to grate my own if I'm making a casserole or if I'm making a cheese sauce, something where it needs to be ooey gooey and melty. This stuff is just not your friend because they coat it in some kind of it's like a powder that keeps it from sticking to each other. Well, that also inhibits the melting. And It's just not good, like if you're making mac and cheese, to use this stuff, because you're not going to get that ooey gooey that you're wanting. But in these cheese wafers, it doesn't matter, because we're not looking for ooey gooey. We're looking for crisp and snappy and crunchy. And so this stuff works just fine. I need to start out with some flour. I'm using plain all-purpose flour because I don't want any leavening in it, because I don't want them to rise. We're looking for crispy wafers. We're not looking for biscuits. So anyway, 1 cup is all you need of plain all-purpose flour. I'm going to go in, well, it's a little bit more than ½ pound of cheese, but that's just how I roll. So anyway, you're going to want to use a ½ pound of cheese. Now, Granny Cresson's recipe calls for straight up sharp cheddar cheese. I have got a mixture. I've got extra sharp cheddar cheese. I've got a little bit of Colby Jack, and I've got some Parmesan. And it's a little bit over a cup, which is, you know, ½ pound. So anyway, it's going in the pool. I'm going to put my Rice Krispies in. Now look, this is 2 heaping cups of Rice Krispies. You can use store brand. You don't have to use actual Rice Krispies. If you want to use crispy rice cereal, do it, because it's going to be fabulous. It's going to taste the same. The recipe calls for a whole stick of melted butter. Throw it in. Boom, boom, boom. In the pond. Now, this is where my variations kick in a little bit different from Granny Cresson's. Hers is very simple. It's just got salt and cayenne, and that's it. And seriously, I guess that's really all you need. But I gotta be me, and I gotta do a little more. So in addition to the salt that I'll add here in a minute, I have decided that I love adding toasted sesame seeds. They just give it something. I don't know. It's just, I love it. And so this is 3 tablespoons of toasted sesame seeds. They come in a little jar, and they're just solid snow white. And I toast them to open up the oil and let it cook just a bit, because when they're right out of the jar, they're raw. If you're going to put something raw, the moisture content is pretty high, and it's going to take away from the crunch and the snap. And that would be defeating the purpose of making a cheesy, crispy wafer, right? Right. So just toast them a minute, and don't put it on high because you'll burn them. So medium for a minute or 2, and they'll get toasty brown. This is something that I just started adding recently because, well, I'm a garlic head and I love it. This is everything bagel topping. It's what you find on a really good bagel. It's got the garlic, it's got the poppy seeds, it's got the salt and the pepper, and it's just a marvelous addition to these crispy cheesy wafers. I did toast it for just a minute, but you got to be careful because that garlic will burn on you, and then it turns acrid and it's bitter and it's not worth chewing. So watch yourself whenever you are toasting up your bagel mix. So here's the cayenne. Now I like a little heat. I don't like to go crazy with the heat, but this recipe calls for 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. For me, it's plenty. If you like extreme heat, we'll kick it up a notch and, you know, go for 1/2 teaspoon. But that's overkill in my opinion. You're wanting something that's going to be tasty, not painful, right? Anyway, easy on the cayenne, folks, unless you're crazy. I mean, I love crazy, but not in my cheese wafer. So this is just some garlic powder. I decided that I really like the addition of the garlic powder in addition to the garlic in the bagel mix, just because. I mean, hello, it's my kitchen. I can do what I want. And the same for you. If you find something that you really like, go with it. Seriously, think outside the box and do things different, and it's going to be quite an experience, and I bet it turns out delicious. Some salt. Recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So this is pink Himalayan salt. Use table salt if that's what you got. This is what I grabbed. So anyway, okay, so you're going to want to use a stand mixer because, well, there's not a whole lot of liquid in this. And the cheese and flour and the Rice Krispies have to come together into a nice kind of, I guess it's a sticky ball. It's not going to be sticky, but it needs to come together so that when you roll it out, it'll stay together and not just be crumbly. And it takes a few minutes. I'm not gonna lie, when I made these the other day, I stood here a good 3 minutes watching the process, watching the cheese slowly start to break down and the moisture leaving it, the flour getting soaked up. So it's a process for sure, but it doesn't take that long. So just be patient and stand here and smell it, because it smells real good. And it's going to taste wonderful, and I'm so excited. Yay! Now you'll know you're getting close when you look down in the bowl and you start seeing clumps sticking together rather than just everything being crumbly. It's not going to make a dough like if you were mixing up pizza dough or something, but you will see a difference in how things look in the bowl. So this is probably about where it needs to be. So I'll take it out and I will show you exactly what we're working with. Now I went by Granny's method. Her directions were a little sparse. She said, roll into balls and flatten. There was no baking time. There was no baking temperature. And so I just kind of had to wing it and guess what I was doing. And so far so good, because I mean they've turned out when I've practiced in the past. So this is kind of what you're left with. You can see that it is crumbly, but watch, when I reach in and take a handful and I put a little pressure on it, like I'm going to roll it into a ball, it sticks together. So see, look, boom, there's the ball. So what we're going to do is, I don't want that big of a ball. Just going to take small little handfuls of this, and let me get a spoon. Let's see, this is just a regular teaspoon, and that's kind of the size that we're looking for, is a teaspoon, because we don't want them to be great big monsters. We're just looking for little bite-sized treats, and so, look at that. We're just eyeballing it, but it's approximate. So I'm going to roll out a bunch of these little things and just use some elbow grease and smush them together until you get your little ball. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put them on our cookie sheet. I have lined my cookie sheet with a piece of parchment paper. And I'm going to roll them into the balls. And it does take a little while to do this because, I mean, it has the tendency to want to fall apart. But, you know, the heat of your hand with that cheese is slowly starting to melt. So you can manipulate it pretty easy. So you just have to stand here, I don't know, put some music on and just think about cheese wafers. Anyway. Alright, so I'll show you what they look like when you mash them out a little bit. Boom, all the good things. Alright. So here's my baking sheet, and you can space them kind of close together because they are not going to spread because we don't have any leaven in here. There's nothing that's going to make them puff or rise, and so they're going to stay pretty true to the size that when you smash it. So take my hand, smash it flat like that. Now if you didn't want them flat, I guess you could leave it in a ball shape, but they won't get good and crispy in the middle because, well, this has more surface area, and so the heat gets to it and crisps it up because it's losing a lot of moisture. If you leave it in a ball, it can't let loose all of its moisture, and so it's going to stay kind of, it won't be gummy, but it definitely won't be crispy and crunchy and snappy like what we're looking for. So I'm going to continue making these things, and put them in the oven, and I'll be back in just a second. Alright, so here's the last one on the pan. I'm putting 4, 8, 12, 16 on the pan, which is not bad. You know, fill her up, I say. I'm just putting him right there, and I'm going to smash him down. Give them all a good little smush. And seriously, that's about all she wrote. They don't have to look beautiful. You just want them to look kind of uniform. Sorry. Easy peasy. So I'm going to put these in the oven. It's 350. Now I have found the sweet spot of 13 minutes. That's what it takes to get them to the consistency that I particularly like. I baked several batches. I did one at 12 minutes. I did one 13. I went to 14. And I even did one at 15. 15 is too much in my opinion. It gets too brown on the bottom and I didn't care for it. 13 is perfect. And Brad says it's perfect too. So, you know, he and I are the ones who eats the most in the house. So, whatever. Excuse my paper. All you see is a big old reflection of my light. And so I didn't want to freak y'all out. Anyway, here we go. Putting the timer on for 13 minutes. Start. And now they're going to cook up and they're going to be wonderful. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I'll be back when the buzzer's about to go off, okay? So we got just a few seconds left. It smells ridiculous in here. Got garlic, the cheese. Oh, let's check it out. All right, going in. Look how fabulous. Okay, so they didn't change shape or anything, but they're sizzling. I love that sound. It's not exactly a snap, crackle, pop, but it is a sizzle. And pick one up here to look at the bottom to see about how done. You see that? It's perfect. 13 minutes, y'all. 350, 13 minutes. And you're going to have a smashing little cracker, wafer, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, you don't have to wait for them to cool to take them off and put them on the tray to cool down because they're holding together so wonderfully. All that cheese is melted. I'm telling y'all, you can find cheese straws in the store and they're okay. But when you take the time to make it yourself, hot dog, it's just over the moon good. And you'll impress the fool out of your friends if you show up at their door with a bag of these and you'll be like, just a little something I whipped up. Because they're stinking awesome. Boom. And it's just like that. These got to cool off for just a minute or two before you can bite into it. Unless you like molten lava in your mouth. I mean, that's up to you. Now, I did have some the other day. I put a little bit of jalapeno pepper jelly on some cream cheese on top of one of these. It was divine. But there's no set way that you have to eat these. You can just use them as a snack cracker. You can use them as a vehicle for cream cheese. You can use them in any application that you want to. They're just good snacks to have on hand. They're not exactly the cheapest thing to make just because they do have a lot of butter and a lot of cheddar, blah, blah, blah. But anything that's good is going to cost a little. So investments, people. It's all about what you invest in. I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. I have certainly enjoyed being back in the kitchen with you. I hope that you come visit me over at my blog at jamieteachmetocook.com. I will have the video posted and I will also have a full recipe written out for this variation as well as Granny Creason's original recipe. I hope that you download it, print it, and I hope that you make it. I know some folks just like to watch videos, but those of you who actually like to cook and who like to try out new recipes, let me know what you think. Seriously, I think you're going to be impressed. They're just delicious. And I love sharing food with friends. And everybody that I've taken these to, their eyes just roll back in their head and it's just love. You can tell it. This is my love language. And I'm sharing it with you because I do love you, my viewers. Come see me over at Facebook. I'm always doing something crazy in the kitchen over at Facebook, even if it's nothing more than just posting what we made for dinner that night. Or you can come see me at Pinterest. You can see me at jamiebakes.net. That's my business page. So if you need a cupcake, come see me there. And I better try one of these before I sign off. Yeah, it's not to the snap stage yet because it's still warm inside. But the crunch is already there. And the Rice Krispy is just, seriously, best stinking cracker ever. I'm just saying. Anyway, make them, enjoy. Stick to being you, because you're awesome. And nobody else can be you quite like you. Mwah. Bye, y'all.